Paulo Costa's been blatantly taking juice in public. Conor Benn's been popped with a drug aimed at helping him impregnate himself. And Conor McGregor is walking around looking like a goddamn house. The combat sports world has a drug problem. Or does it? What's up, fight fans? In today's video, I'll be doing something a little bit differently. Yes, I'm still recording inside of a Nissan. What is it? Yes, I'm still recording inside of a Nissan Sentra, but that's besides the point. This weekend was a little light on fights. Nothing crazy going on. Still waiting for next weekend. We got Tyson Fury versus Dillian White, which, it's a fight. And of course, we have Kevin Holland versus Stephen Wonderboy Thompson, which I'm very excited for. But this week, we're going to talk about something a little bit different. The biggest story in the combat sports world lately has been Conor McGregor and his newfound, extremely muscular physique. Everyone's wondering, is the guy on PEDs? In this video, I'll be giving my opinion and giving my thoughts on who he should fight next when he returns. Let's get into it. So recently, Conor McGregor has been getting into a little bit of a back and forth on Twitter with Anthony Lionheart Smith. Anthony Smith came out and straight up accused Conor McGregor of taking steroids and really talked about it as if it was a matter of fact. Conor McGregor responded in typical Conor McGregor fashion by completely going off on Twitter on this insane tirade, but he actually made a couple points that I think make a lot of sense. Conor pointed out that his injury is extremely severe. The percentage chance of his bones healing together properly is extremely low, and while we're all fight fans, we're worried about him coming back to fight, this might impact his future as far as being able to walk, period. And the guy has a life outside of fighting. Even though we know him as Conor McGregor, the fighter, the guy is a father, the guy is a husband, the guy has things to do outside of the cage, and I'm sure he wants to be able to run around and play with his kids. But Conor also said that he's worried about his leg healing and he doesn't give a fuck about anything else, which is not exactly denying all the steroid accusations at all. He's in a really weird situation. I mean, I really can't blame the guy for wanting to be able to walk normally again. His injury reminded me a lot of Anderson Silva's injury, and if you remember, when Anderson Silva came back from that insane leg break, he was popped for using PEDs. So I do think it's possible that Conor McGregor is taking anything and everything he can so that he can make his comeback. But there's two reasons that everybody thinks Conor is on something. First of all, the guy looks jacked, okay? But I'm not ready to say that just because he looks jacked, the guy must be on steroids. If you think about it, he broke his leg, right? As a mixed martial artist, all of a sudden, he can't do the majority of his mixed martial arts training. He can't really do much of anything for cardio for a year, but the guy obviously loves working out. So he was probably just lifting weights all the time, every single day while he was waiting for his leg to recover. You got to think about how the Conor McGregor we know is the guy that cut a lot of weight and was probably at death's door trying to make 145 and was still cutting a good amount of weight to make 155. Now all of a sudden he has no reason to cut any weight and he's only focused on putting on muscle. Yeah, it makes perfect sense that over the course of a year and a half, the guy put on some size. Also, let's be honest, the guy's taking pictures with perfect lighting, with a fresh pump right after he's lifting weights. I mean, I think, he's jacked, but a lot of these pictures are not telling the full story. If you compare the pictures of him to the videos of him training, yeah, he's a muscular guy, but it's definitely not the same. The angles and the pump, I mean, the guy's basically an Instagram model at this point. The other reason people are saying that he's probably on PEDs is because USADA recently released a statement, and Conor McGregor echoed this statement, that if he wants to return, all it's going to take is 2 negative tests. Which is kind of crazy when you think about Jiri Prochazka took almost 30 tests in the course of a single month leading up to his title fight with Glover. And now Conor McGregor's potentially going to come back in the cage with only 2 clean tests. I mean, that is pretty insane. So when Conor finally makes his comeback, I mean, there is a chance that we're going to see a guy in there who's completely juiced up and has a metal rod in his shin. That's going to be a scary sight from anybody that has to get locked in a cage with that man. Speaking of which, who should Conor McGregor fight next? And to me, there's only 3 names that make sense. First of all, the guy that's been calling him out nonstop, Iron Michael Chandler. That would be a great fight. It would be a very fan-friendly fight. Chandler is still a contender at lightweight. Chandler likes to keep things on the feet for the most part, though he did introduce some wrestling in this fight with Poirier. But that would be a great fight. That's a fight that a lot of people would be excited about, and that both guys would do a lot to promote. Next is Justin Gaethje. Justin Gaethje has kind of called out Conor McGregor before. He's also a guy that's been accusing him of using PEDs. And Justin Gaethje is stylistically a really good matchup for Conor McGregor. I think that fight would be a lot of fun. Gaethje likes to keep the fight on the feet, even though he is a great wrestler. And Gaethje is definitely not scared of a war. I could see a situation where these two guys just start going at it on the feet. That would be a great fight, and if Conor's trying to get back in the title picture at 155, a win over Gaethje puts him right there. But Conor is looking huge lately, and he's been hinting at a return to 170. I think Conor going to 170 is really interesting, but there's only one matchup at 170 that I think makes sense for Conor, and that's Jorge Gamebred Masvidal. Another guy that likes to keep the fight on the feet, and Jorge's coming off of a few losses, and he's a bit older. I think that is a winnable fight for Conor, an exciting fight for the fans. You have two of the guys that are the most marketable in all of the UFC. It's probably the fight that's going to make Conor the most money, too. And if Leon Edwards finds a way to get past Usman for the second time, I think Leon's a guy that would definitely invite Conor to take a shot at the belt. I could see a situation where if Conor could find a way to get past Masvidal, he might be able to go up and fight Leon right away and avoid some of the wrestlers, guys like Usman, Colby, and Hamzat at 170. And lastly, I think we need to take a moment to recognize the fact that Conor McGregor is a legend. I know that the cool thing to do now is to act like the guy's completely washed, he's no good, and he's never been good. But what the guy did at 145 was nothing short of special. The names on his resume: Dustin Poirier, Max Holloway, the 12-second knockout of Jose Aldo, and then going on to 55, putting on one of the best performances in the history of the UFC against Eddie Alvarez. And then, of course, the two fights with Nate Diaz. This guy is a legend, and he didn't become a legend by accident. Conor winning the two belts defined what it means to be great in the sport of MMA. Now you see everybody trying to become a champ. And the only way to get to a point like that is hard work, dedication, and natural ability, and ridiculous self-belief. I'm not ready to count him out. I think it's still possible that he comes back and shocks the world again. Let me know in the comments what you think. Who should Conor fight next? And do you think that he's juiced to the gills, or is he all natty? Thanks for watching.